Joining us right now is Texas Congressman, Financial Services Committee member Roger Williams. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. What's your reaction to that opening statement?
Well, I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. I think America should lead the way in innovation, and I'm all for that. I'm kind of an old school guy. I'm a Main Street business guy, but I want to hear what he has to say. And let's assume too that the private sector can do things great. We know they can. So let's see what he talks about, and let's see where he thinks he can take this.
Well, how come it took them so long to admit that they were breaching our privacy and selling our information to advertisers? I mean, can we trust them on cryptocurrency after what we've just been through in terms of privacy?
Well, that's going to be something to ask them. I mean, they didn't say anything until they had to say something, and this is important when you talk about cryptocurrency. I'm still a dollar bill guy, and I want to know, are the consumers going to be protected? How's it going to work for Main Street America? How's it going to work for a business like I have? Is it going to make things easier, harder, or whatever, and can I trust them?
Well, hi, Congressman. This is Omid Malik.
Hey,
I would just say that if you think about why are they getting into this business, that's the first question to ask, and that is so they can track the spending behavior of the American citizen. And he's going to use China as a boogeyman. The difference is the Chinese government is the one who's doing this, not a private corporation. So I certainly agree that you want innovation out of the private sector, but to what end? Look at all the different businesses they're in, and it all seems in order to track citizens. If they are going to get into a currency sector, they need to be regulated at the full extent, just like a bank would in some cases. And so I hope, to the extent that our congressmen are speaking about this, that we're going to actually have them be regulated, because this is a company that has shown bad faith in the past and continues to expand in area after area and swallows up any innovation, and is also a monopoly.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and that's what we're going to have to talk about today and learn more about it. But transparency is going to have to be important. Protect the consumer is going to have to be important. And that's the bottom line. That's what we do here. And as a small business person, I want to make sure that I'm protected. And those are the things he's going to have to answer.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good question. Is it just to track everybody to see what they're spending their money on?
Wow.
Yeah.
Omid, I want to ask you a question. How many people, with respect, Congressman, how many people in Washington really understand how Facebook's business works? Because it's vast. And again, when Mark Zuckerberg first appeared on Capitol Hill, he was very, very prepared in terms of well rehearsed by his legal team.
Yeah.
And he was very focused and very respectful. But the questions didn't really get to the bottom of what Facebook has been up to literally for the last 12 years or so.
Dagan, it's such an important point. Many of the senators that asked him questions didn't even know that Facebook was a free service. And as a result, they didn't understand how he was making money. They didn't even know that it's from the advertisers. So if you don't understand the fundamental business purpose and how their earnings are generated, how are you even going to begin to regulate it? And instead of allowing them to get into more and more areas, this can be very dangerous.
Well, we'll be watching this hearing. Go ahead, Congressman, real quick.
Well, I was going to say, Dagan, you asked the question, how many Congress people? I mean, the truth of the matter is, very few, and I don't include myself to be all-knowing. I'm still learning this. We've got to ask the questions, but the problem is sometimes more people up here, as you know, think they know more than they know.
Yeah.
And that's why this hearing is important, and maybe those to follow.
Well, take that question to your colleagues that Omid just gave you. Why are they getting into this business? Do they want to just track everybody and what they're spending? Real quick on the push for impeachment, Congressman, the top American diplomat in Ukraine, William Taylor, testified yesterday that President Trump did, in fact, use aid as an incentive for Ukraine to investigate the Biden family in the 2016 election. Of course, then Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said that Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe questioned, quote, destroyed Taylor's argument. Do you have any sense of what went down yesterday? And if the public's ever going to get a look behind the curtain here in this impeachment inquiry?
Well, I don't know. They've been really secret about it. It's not even in the right committee. I know I was in my district last week with the president to open up a Louis Vuitton plant in central Texas, and people back home they're following it, but it's not important. But I think it's nothing stuck on the president. It's their only way to think they can win in 2022 or 2020.
Yeah.
And it's phony is the bottom line. And we got to get through this. And we got an election coming up in November, and let's let the voters decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's interesting, Congressman, that because Taylor had in his opening statement suggestions that there was a quid pro quo, they released his opening statement. Nothing else was released. In particular, the questioning by John Ratcliffe, which blew a hole in that completely.
The House Democrats are essentially auditioning players for what will be a public Christmas pageant, a holiday pageant of the impeachment proceedings. They're trying to find the best voices to push this message on the American people. So all this is being done in secret. The Republican congressmen aren't even given transcripts of these interviews or depositions. They have to go in and read the transcript with a Democratic staffer standing next to them or over them.
They're going to minder. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's unprecedented.
No, and
never seen such a
because you know
thing.
what? It's not an impeachment proceeding. They haven't voted on it. It's not. It's not formal. It's not formal in the way that it was with Clinton and with Richard Nixon. Again, they're not treating this with the seriousness and the severity that it is when you're trying to
vote, and they don't have the votes, and they also don't have a story.
Really quickly, there was a CNN report that that the number of people in favor of impeachment and removal from office has gone up. It's at 50%. But if you look at Republicans, the number of people saying yes to that impeachment and removal from office has fallen dramatically. It's only 6% of Republicans right now. So support for the president among his base is actually improving.
Yeah, and I don't see any credibility on the Democrat side until they focus on the real wrongdoing in 2016. I want to see accountability. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good to see you guys.
Congressman Roger Williams joining us there.